Hey guys, William Slayer here. I just wanted to make this video because I decided to make a no-heat PVC pipe bow, and I want to give a big thank you to Nick from the Backyard Bowyer for being the inspiration to this. And I also want to give a huge thanks to my Skye Ranger buddies Pikel and FUAX who encouraged me to go out and make this. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate all the support. I am not going to give you a full description of the materials that I have in front of me. All of them are exactly the same except for one exception from Nick's video. So if you would like, I'll put a link in the description below and you can go check out his list of all of the materials that I'm using here today. I'm also not going to go through all of the tedious part, make you guys watch all the tedious parts of me cutting the PVC pipe or putting the nocks in the PVC pipe. I will say absolutely what Nick says in his video is true. There's lots of dust and bits and particles when you use the saw to cut these, so please make sure that you do these in a well-ventilated area and possibly outside if you can. Cutting the fiberglass rods was very dusty and definitely itchy. So make sure that you do it somewhere where you've got lots of good ventilation. Don't breathe that stuff in, guys. Last thing I wanted to say about the pipe before we go on to actual assembly is I thought I was being clever by lining up my nocks with the wording along the PVC pipe. It was very close to being true, but the wording along the pipe actually does drift a couple of fractions of an inch as it goes up from one end to the other. So I did have to make a few adjustments to the making sure that the nocks were straight with each other. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to assemble all the pieces of fiberglass rodding. Just like Nick said in his video, I've made sure that I have marked each one of these along the center. And as a quick review, these pieces are 12 inches long, 18 inches long, 30 inches long, and 36 inches long. We're going to line them up in the middle, and then we're going to tape them together. Just like in Nick's video, I'm going to use duct tape here and start wrapping the ends. Nick says this is a good way to make sure you don't damage the inside of your bow. I believe him. The pieces of fiberglass are a little bit sharp on the ends, and so we want to make sure we don't damage the inside. Okay, so I've finished wrapping our fiberglass rods, and as you can see, the duct tape is almost all the way down to the center. I agree with Nick in that it's really not necessary to use duct tape itself. This is just a kind of generic brand of duct tape, and you could use packing tape or even masking tape would do well, since this is just going to be flexing a little bit. We're going to insert these into the pipe now. And I do not have a dowel rod like Nick did. What we are going to use is simply a arrow that I have purchased so that the kids can use it for practice. Okay. And remember, we need to get this into the center. All right, guys, so we moved outside so that I could string the bow. Didn't want to show you guys that because Nick did it much better in his video. Right now, I do want to say that one of the things that I was not able to get when I was at Lowe's today was I was not able to get the poly cord that Nick mentions in his video. I got what was called the nylon paracord. And just like Nick says in his video, the poly cord probably does not stretch as much as this does. This nylon paracord definitely seemed, when I strung the bow, to stretch a little bit more than I wanted to. I may end up restringing the bow because if you see, when I hold it up, if you compare it against Nick's bow had more of a bend to it. His string actually came to the top of his thumb, whereas my bow doesn't bend quite as much. Having said that, though, pulling the string on this one, Kai, if you could back up the camera a little bit so I can demonstrate. Pulling the string on this one definitely feels like a good draw. And it feels like we've definitely got the fiberglass in the middle of it. So, with that having been said, we're going to cut this off. If I need to tighten this string up, of course, it'll be shorter, not longer, so I don't have to worry about that. We're going to pause the video one more time, and then we're going to go down to the target and give it a couple of practice shots.
Go.
All right, guys, so we're in the backyard now. We've got our PVC pipe no-heat bow, and I'm not used to a 40-pound draw, so I would definitely say this is at least 40 pounds on the draw. I've got a couple of arrows from the kid's bow here. We're just going to make a couple of shots. Give you an example. Bends really nice. It's got a really tight, really hard to pull. For me, not being used to 40 pounds, I'd say it's at least 40 pounds. I'm going to shoot a couple of arrows just to demonstrate. And I really appreciate you guys watching. All right, thanks again, guys. Have a good one.